Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. I'm here to talk to you about the announcement that just came from James Gunn about the DCU, which is going to replace the DCEU, and which will be all of the DC characters, shows, movies, animated projects, and video games. So this is something that we've all been waiting for since James Gunn took over, along with the other guy, Peter, what's his name, to find out what's going to become of the DC universe in multimedia. If any of it's going to stick around, if everything's going to be thrown out and in favor of all kinds of new things, what exactly is going to happen? And so James Gunn addressed some of that by talking a little bit about the first chapter of a multi-year DCEU plan. And the first chapter is going to be called Gods and Monsters. And this plan is designed to connect the DCU into one story with the same actors, except for the other projects which will not be connected to it, which will be clearly labeled Elseworlds stories. So the Matt Reeves Batman, for example, would be part of Elseworlds, which makes it sound like that's going to continue, which, they've been saying that, but who knows? There are all kinds of rumors about everything all the time. But from what he said today, it sounds like the Matt Reeves Batman universe is going to continue and that it would be part of DC Elseworlds and separate from the DCU. And I find that a little bit troubling because the whole reason they're doing all of this reorganizing, canceling Wonder Woman 3, for example, and recasting Superman, is because they wanted to have change the narrative, change the landscape of the narrative, and streamline it, I guess. Although those things don't necessarily lend themselves to streamlining, but they're still going to have these separate universes from the main DCU, which is what they have now. So I don't understand why they're doing this. And I could understand it if they were ditching Shazam, Aquaman, and Flash. Anyway, this is what he was saying is going to happen. They're going to, except for the Elseworld stuff, they're going to put everything into one connected universe with the same actor across everything. So you wouldn't have, for example, like we've had up to this point, Grant Gustin playing the Flash on TV and Ezra Miller playing him in the movie. Someone like, Henry Cavill playing Superman as he did, while Tyler Hoechlin, if that's how you say his name, Superman was also on TV. So Henry Cavill's out, and from what we've heard before, they're going to have a younger Superman in the new DCU Superman project, which is going to be called Superman Legacy, being written by Gunn and slated to be out in July of 2025. And in his words, it'll be the true beginning of the DCU. So it sounds like not Tyler Hoechlin. So are they going to cancel Superman and Lois? Is it going to be part of Elseworlds? It's weird. Like, I can understand wanting to have one actor play a part across all mediums. I think that's a cool thing. But they've already said they're not actually going to do that. They're going to have these Elseworlds. So I don't understand it. I don't. Some of the other projects he talked about is going to be a show called Waller with Viola Davis, an animated series called Creature Commanders that he's also writing, James Gunn. He talked about the Lantern series that we've been hearing about. Apparently that's still going forward on HBO Max. It's going to focus on Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan, as well as others. It's kind of going to be like True Detectives, according to what he said. He said they're doing a project called The Authority based on Windstorm, which is about a bunch of heroes that want to fix the world because it's broken. He said they're going to do a series called Paradise Lost about the island of Themyscira, Paradise Island, and all its inhabitants. He didn't mention Wonder Woman specifically, which is odd. And of course, no mention of casting, which really stinks because I really, really, really like the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman. So I'm dubious about that. The DCU Batman, which is going to be a new Batman, is going to be introduced, from what he said, it sounds like a new Batman. It's going to be introduced in a Batman Brave and the Bold story featuring Damian Wayne as Robin, based on the Grant Morrison run in the comics. And again, no casting was mentioned, but it's going to lead into or include the Bat family, which is Batgirl, Batwoman, Nightwing, etc. He also said there's going to be a Booster Gold show, no mention of casting. There's going to be a Supergirl film based on Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which was Tom King's run. And he said that Supergirl is going to be a jaded character, having grown up on a chunk of Krypton and watching everybody around her die, unlike Superman, who grew up on Earth with a loving family and all that. So I like the sound of that, but no mention of casting. And the other thing he mentioned is they're going to do a Swamp Thing again. It's going to be a very dark horror origin story outside of the DCU, so Elseworlds, but will feed into it, which doesn't make any sense to me. But that's what he had to say. He said that the DC characters are very important to him, and they always have been, and that in his mind, story is king, and that's going to come first. So a mixed bag, if you ask me. I think there's some good news. I like Jason Momoa's Aquaman. I like Ezra Miller's Flash. Okay, I would rather he continue in the role than not, even though he's not my favorite version of the Flash. It sounds like Peacemaker is going to continue. Because when he mentioned Waller, he sort of mentioned Peacemaker, but he didn't say anything specifically about the series, if I remember correctly. What he said, Peacemaker is great, so that's cool. I don't think I care about Blue Beetle or, the Waller show. Speaking of that, unless it features Peacemaker. I don't care about this Creature Commanders that he's writing. I don't care about this Windstorm thing. I'm not looking forward to someone else playing Wonder Woman. So, I think there was some good stuff and some bad stuff in there. I'm looking forward to a Green Lantern series. I think that'll be cool. Batman Brave and the Bold sounds like it could be good. I have no objection to that. I don't care about a Booster Gold show. The Supergirl thing is really intriguing. I'm down for that. So a mixed bag. Some things I like, some things I don't like. But now I have questions. What about Superman and Lois and Gotham Knights? Is that going to be Elseworlds? I asked this earlier. But are those going to be Elseworlds shows? Are they going to not move forward? Like, they're just about to debut season 1 of Gotham Knights. Not that I think it's going to be any good, but what are they doing? And what I don't understand is how these, standing characters that seem to be moving forward, Ezra Miller's Flash, the current Aquaman, the current Shazam, the current Peacemaker, possibly, how is that all going to jibe with a new Superman and a new Batman and presumably a new Wonder Woman? Does it have to do with something he said about the Flash movie, which was that it's going to reset the DCU? Because that would be one way in to sort of doing that, to melding the existing with the new. So I'm wondering if it all hinges on that. I don't know. It seems like they're still doing kind of a haphazard thing. And, that they're still headed in the same direction. I think this is going to confuse things more than not. I think they would have been better off scrapping Ezra Miller's Flash, Jason Momoa's Aquaman, and Zachary Levi's Shazam if they're going to be going forward with a new Batman, a new Superman, and a new Wonder Woman. I don't get it. And the other Batman, what? I don't understand. Time will tell, I guess. Like I say, I'm looking forward to some things. Don't care about other things. I'm a little confused, but I'm a DC fan, so I'm going to follow along as best I can. And, I'll be here to cover these projects when they're released, and I'll be back with more news about the goings on at DC as it is released. I'm going to get out of here for now. Until I return, I wish you peace and long life.